Fireworks of nostalgia ignite the moment Julie Andrews leans into the microphone. Her voice still as warm and clear as when she first sang A Spoonful of Sugar. At 89, she's about to shatter decades of speculation by revealing the real story behind the most famous gibberish word in movie history, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. For years, fans have whispered theories that the word was a coded message, an homage to her childhood, even a secret nod to the British royals. Now, with a gentle laugh and a twinkle in her eye, Andrews confirms what we all suspected. The term springs from an old family lullaby, passed down through generations to chase away real-life troubles with pure imagination. It all began in 1964 when Walt Disney Studios unveiled Mary Poppins, thrusting Andrews from West End favorite into global superstar. From the moment she sang that tongue twister, audiences marveled at its effortless energy, its promise that when life gets bleak, a bit of whimsy works miracles. But behind the scenes, Andrews quietly carried the secret source, a nursery rhyme her grandmother sang to her at bedtime in post-war London. She remembers those first words failing to rhyme, twisting awkwardly until her grandmother reshaped them into something melodic and unforgettable. She needed a magic phrase, Andrews recalls, something to lift our spirits when blackout drills interrupted our games. It wasn't invented in a writer's room. It was forged by a worried mother hoping to bathe her child in laughter. For 50-plus years, that provenance remained tucked away like a cherished family photo. Scholars combed archival memos. Disney historians scoured and used lyrics for clues. Was it a hidden anagram? A whimsical nod to 19th-century nonsense poets? Andrews steadfastly deflected every query with a coy smile, insisting only that the word came to her naturally in rehearsals. But every so often, she dropped breadcrumbs, mentioning her grandmother's voice or a lullaby about silver moonbeams that soothed restless dreams. Those hints sent fans into a frenzy. Amateur linguists dissecting syllables, book clubs hunting colonial-era manuscripts, even YouTube channels dramatizing the Mary Poppins conspiracy. Today, though, Andrews smiles softly as she sets the record straight. "I owe that word to Granny Dot," she announces, pausing so the audience can gasp in unison. "She never wrote down the rhyme, so I recast it in song. But every time I sing it, I feel her arms around me." With that confession, years of conjecture collapse into a warm, golden glow. Suddenly, expialidocious isn't just a catchy mouthful. It's a family heirloom, a lifeline woven from hope and lullabies. Seeing Andrews share this with the world, fans realize how deeply personal the film's magic was for her, how every note carried the memory of a grandmother's love. Ripples of joy spread instantly. On social media, the hashtag Granny.rhyme trends within minutes. TikTokers duet clips of Andrews' revelation alongside black and white photos of post-war London, underscoring the rhyme's origin in ration lines and nighttime air raid drills. Musicologists rushed to archive recollections of other wartime melodies, hoping to piece together the fragments of that lost lullaby. Meanwhile, family members who once hesitated to speak about their famous relative come forward with old letters and photographs. Snapshots of a young Julie clutching sheets of handwritten verses, her face alight as she tried out each newly minted couplet. Amid this newfound frenzy, Andrews remains anchored in gracious humility. She thanks Disney for believing her when she first pitched the word, and she salutes the songwriters who polished her rough draft into a melody that still soars. "It's bigger than any one of us," she muses. "It belongs to all the children who ever needed a little joy." In that moment, the room feels charged with collective memory. Grandparents humming the song on car trips, parents tickling toddlers into giggles with gibberish lines, young dreamers learning that a fanciful word can carry tremendous power. Julie Andrews' confirmation doesn't just solve a mystery. It renews the enchantment of Mary Poppins for every generation still eager to believe in a touch of magic. Across continents, Andrews' revelation triggered an outpouring of creativity. In London, theater troupes wove a prologue into Mary Poppins revivals, dramatizing a young Julie learning her grandmother's lullaby under flickering blackout lights. In Melbourne, community centers hosted backyard sing-alongs of Granny Dot's rhyme, with grandchildren clutching illustrated booklets. Families everywhere rediscovered their own ancestral rhymes, bonding over bedtime traditions long forgotten. That simple lineage of spoken songs suddenly felt like a shared inheritance, passed from one generation to the next. Even Tokyo enthusiasts tweeted video replies, amplifying the global chorus. Meanwhile, scholars raced to preserve every trace of the wartime lullaby. University archives in Oxford, Cambridge unearthed letters containing fragments like "Silver clouds drift above my head." Oral history projects captured elderly neighbors recalling Julie humming tunes during blackouts. Documentary teams compiled interviews with childhood friends, local librarians, and family diaries, weaving together a tapestry of memories. Viewers saw film clips of Andrews singing incomplete lines, surviving in home movies. This research effort framed the song not as mere entertainment, but as a testament to wartime resilience and imaginative fortitude. In parallel, behind-the-scenes recordings and composer testimonies enriched the story. Richard M. Sherman, co-writer, and brother Robert Sherman, reminisced about hearing Julie's grandmother's tease during early rehearsals. He recalled how a playful hum evolved into a structured melody when Andrews instinctively injected the wartime rhyme. Rare rehearsal tapes surfaced online, revealing moments of impromptu debate over whether to emphasize fragilistic or linger on Dacius. Audio engineers released isolated vocal tracks, allowing fans to dissect each syllable's rise and fall. Music journalists praised these archival glimpses as a masterclass in creative fusion, demonstrating how private memory can shape enduring art. Meanwhile, social media influencers turned the reveal into a creative festival. TikTokers composed original lullaby covers and scored videos of grandparents reciting heirloom rhymes. Instagram artists painted animated story sequences of Andrews learning verses by candlelight, while YouTube educators launched tutorials on teaching children the reconstructed tune. Even corporate sponsors joined in. Bookstores printed wallet-sized lyric cards, and coffee shops served latte art spelling out "Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious." This wave of participation made the lullaby an anthem of cross-generational solidarity rather than a mere trivia footnote. Fans reported rediscovering their own family melodies, proving that hidden songs can emerge into collective celebration. Amid this digital renaissance, Julie Andrews led live virtual salons, sharing personal anecdotes and inviting families to contribute lost verses. In interactive webcast workshops, she demonstrated how simple shifts in emphasis can transform gibberish into soul-stirring refrains. Attendance soared as viewers logged on to marvel at her warmth and musical insight. Early readings for a new musical filtered whispers of Mary's childhood wartime saga through song and dance, setting scenes in dimly lit bunkers and candlelit nurseries. Stage directors promise immersive staging, where children sit on stage as living lullaby custodians, bridging actors and audience in a circle of shared memory. Looking ahead, Broadway producers have greenlit a new stage adaptation set to debut next fall. Conceived as both a tribute, the production will dramatize Andrews' wartime childhood, tracing her grandmother's lullaby from candlelit shelters to the big screen. Workshops are exploring immersive staging. Audience members will be gifted lyric lanterns to hold during pivotal scenes, while a live lullaby choir of local children will echo every verse in harmony. Creative teams promise period-accurate costumes and puppetry sequences that evoke living storybooks. This theatrical homage aims to connect theatergoers with the private spark that ignited one of cinema's most enduring songs. In confirming the lullaby's true roots, Andrews reminds us that magic often comes wrapped in everyday gestures. A grandmother's whispered words became a worldwide symphony of hope. At 89, she turns childhood memory into an eternal song that binds us. Beyond the stage and digital gatherings, Andrews turned her revelation into a catalyst for intergenerational storytelling. Partnering with children's publishers, she co-authored a beautifully illustrated board book titled Granny Dot's Magic Lullaby, featuring watercolor scenes of London's gaslit streets, blackout blankets draped over railings, and a warm grandmother humming verses by candlelight. The book weaves Andrews' grandmother's wartime lullaby with brief historical notes, allowing readers to glimpse the shadows of the Blitz while celebrating the power of words to soothe fear. Parents and educators praised the book as a gentle way to introduce young readers to history's challenges and the resilience of human creativity. Libraries report trashed copies as families race to add the book to bedtime routines, and literacy campaigns use its pages to encourage young learners to share their own family rhymes. Meanwhile, Guinness World Records verified that supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is one of the longest officially published words rooted in familial lore. A modest ceremony in London's Imperial War Museum saw Andrew's present archival letters and a framed original lyric sheet donated by the family. Attendees included war veterans whose eyes misted as they recalled singing improvised rhymes to their own children during blackouts. When Andrews recited a reconstructed version of her grandmother's verse, the room fell silent, as if time had rewinded to the 1940s. The event underscored how a single phrase can transcend generations, uniting strangers through shared history. On the airwaves, Andrews sat down with NPR's Terry Gross, revealing untold backstage details. The mishap when a teleprompter glitch forced her to improvise on live television, prompting an even longer, mouth-twisting rendition of the word that left the studio in stitches. She confessed that despite years of performing, that improvised take remains one of her most cherished memories, proof that spontaneity and family memory can merge into magic. Gross's listeners responded with an outpouring of voicemail tributes, some singing their own versions of the reconstructed lullaby, others recounting how Mary Poppins inspired them to pursue musical theater or overcome adversity. Amid this renaissance, Andrews revisited the recording studio for the first time in years. Joined by a children's choir, she laid down a new rendition of Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, infused with spoken-word interludes that narrate her grandmother's verse between each chorus. Producers balanced the mix to highlight the chiming voices of the choir, creating a tapestry of sound that marries past and present. Early previews streamed on major platforms to rave reviews, with critics hailing the track as a transcendent moment of collective memory set to melody. Listeners describe it as healing and timeless, crediting the blend of personal narrative and choir arrangement for its emotional pull. Educational institutions also embraced the new recording. Schools integrated the song into language development lessons, using its playful syllables to teach phonics and broaden vocabulary. Speech therapists adopted the chorus as an exercise in articulation, helping children with speech delays practice complex consonant clusters through music and play. Through these initiatives, Andrews's grandmother's lullaby transforms from private family lore into a public tool for learning and growth, a far-reaching legacy that extends well beyond cinematic history. As the world tunes in, Andrews's confirmation reminds us that every legend has a living heartbeat at its core. Her grandmother's unrecorded lullaby, once whispered in candlelit silence, now echoes in recordings, books, classrooms, and hearts across the globe. At 89, Julie Andrews has not only unveiled the origin of a beloved word, but also breathed new life into a simple rhyme. A reminder that the most enduring magic springs from our shared need to comfort, to create, and to connect. In every syllable and soaring refrain, we discover the legacy of Mary Poppins and the timeless bond between past and tomorrow. Granny Dot's magic truly lives on every day, forever. While the lullaby and its revelation have already sparked literary, musical, and academic ripples around the globe, Julie Andrews has one more surprise in store: a feature-length documentary set to premiere next spring. Titled Spoonful of Memory, the film weaves together restored 16mm footage from the original Mary Poppins set with new interviews featuring Andrews, her family, and wartime neighbors who first sang Granny Dot's lullaby by candlelight. Viewers will see Andrews revisiting her childhood home, poring over old letters and diaries, and standing in the very air raid shelters where those improvised verses first took shape. The documentary also profiles the Reconstruction Project, a grassroots initiative devoted to gathering lost lullaby fragments from around Europe. By blending the story of Mary Poppins' enduring magic with the wartime origins of its most famous lyric, Spoonful of Memory promises to illuminate the hidden chords that link art, history, and hope. Filmmakers have already announced a limited edition vinyl soundtrack, pressed on translucent pastel discs etched with lyrics from Granny Dot's verse. To bring this intimate story to fans everywhere, Andrews and her team have mapped out an ambitious global screening tour. Partnering with historic theaters in London's West End, New York's Lincoln Center, Tokyo's Shinjuku Bunka, and Sydney's State Theater, each premiere event will feature live introductions by Andrews herself, followed by intimate Q&A sessions and official timing attempts of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Early ticket holders receive lyric lanterns for a sensory experience, silently illuminating the theater as the word echoes around the auditorium. Pop-up lullaby workshops will take place in lobby spaces, offering families the chance to learn Granny Dot's reconstructed rhyme together. Record-keeping officials will be on hand to certify the most participants singing simultaneously, setting a new Guinness World Record for collective joy and historical tribute. Beyond film and live events, Andrews has collaborated with the Imperial War Museum and the British Library on Lullabies of the Blitz, a traveling museum exhibition opening this summer. Visitors will encounter wartime artifacts, ration books adorned with scribbled verses, blackout drawings depicting cozy bedrooms candlelit by makeshift lanterns, and interactive listening stations where they can record their own interpretations of Granny Dot's lullaby. A special installation features VR headsets that transport viewers to recreated 1940s nurseries, complete with original sound design and period-accurate decor. Proceeds from exhibition ticket sales will fund the Living Memory Trust, an organization dedicated to preserving oral histories of wartime experiences before they vanish forever. Meanwhile, fashion and lifestyle brands have joined the celebration. A couture capsule collection featuring silk scarves, enamel brooches, and children's pajamas printed with lullaby lyrics is launching in select boutiques worldwide. Collaboration partners include a luxury perfumer crafting a midnight lullaby scent, notes of chamomile, sandalwood, and smoky hearth embers, designed to calm and comfort. Online retailers anticipate that demand will outpace supply, with pre-orders opening just hours after the reveal. Parents and collectors prize these items as tactile keepsakes, each piece a woven reminder that a single verse can cradle generations in comfort. To expand the lullaby's healing power, Andrews has also spearheaded Lyrical Lifelines, a charitable initiative providing musical therapy resources to pediatric wards and hospitals. Certified therapists use the reconstructed lullaby as a tool to help children cope with anxiety and pain, drawing on the power of familiar melody and historical connection. Hospitals from London to Los Angeles report that staff and families alike find solace in humming the lullaby together during treatment sessions. Early studies indicate improved mood and reduced stress responses in young patients. For Andrews, this extension of Granny Dot's legacy is the ultimate fulfillment, turning private family lore into a universal balm for bodies and souls. Her grandmother's song now unites generations under one timeless, truly healing melody. Even as Spoonful of Memory begins its global run, Julie Andrews has quietly overseen a surge of spin-off initiatives aimed at preserving Granny Dot's lullaby and fostering cross-generational creativity. At schools in Manchester and Miami, educators have integrated the reconstructed rhyme into reading programs, encouraging children to compose their own variants based on family lore. Teachers report that students deeply engage as they compare syllables, experiment with rhymes, and share heirloom verses once thought lost. Andrews herself recorded personalized audio messages for dozens of classes, praising budding lyricists and reminding them that every melody carries a story waiting to be told. Simultaneously, a tech collective launched the Lullaby Ledger, an interactive website where families worldwide can upload and annotate recordings of bedtime songs passed down through generations. Featuring an intuitive map interface, the platform allows users to listen to global recordings, trace thematic connections, and identify rhythmic or lyrical motifs that echo across cultures. In partnership with Andrews Foundation, the Ledger offers grants for community-driven audio digitization projects, helping smaller historical societies preserve locally significant refrains. Within weeks of its launch, the site cataloged more than 100 unique lullabies, underscoring the universal bond of bedtime storytelling. Meanwhile, musicians have responded with ad hoc collaborations, A folk duo in Dublin recorded a haunting acoustic version of the lullaby in Gaelic. A jazz pianist in New Orleans added improvisational interludes that breathe new life into each phrase. And a children's chorus in Cape Town set the rhyme to a cappella arrangements that ripple with vocal harmony. These recordings stream on major platforms under the banner Granny. Across the world, with proceeds supporting the Living Memory Trust and its efforts to document elders' oral traditions. Music critics praise this anthology as a testament to how a simple wartime phrase can seed an entire genre of cross-cultural creativity. In applied health settings, Andrews has championed Melody Mentors, a series of virtual masterclasses pairing professional vocal coaches with seniors in retirement communities. Through tablet-based video sessions, participants learn the lullaby, explore vocal exercises, and share memories of songs they once sung or heard. Weekly group singing sessions have become a cornerstone of memory care programs, improving mood, enhancing cognitive recall, and fostering social bonding. Andrews visits select communities when travel allows, offering her trademark warmth and reminding participants that artistry knows no age limit. To deepen connections, the foundation organized lullaby-themed retreats in coastal locales, where families gather for workshops on narrative songwriting, rhythmic exploration, and lullaby improvisation. Held in restored seaside cottages, these weekends blend music therapy, storytelling circles, and candlelit composition sessions overlooking the ocean. Parents and grandparents collaborate to craft new verses, weaving personal experiences into melodies that echo with autumn gull calls. Facilitators note that participants describe these retreats as transformative, reigniting creativity and forging bonds that span generations. In the digital space, an AI startup partnered with Andrew's team to develop Granny. A voice interpolation app that enables users to hear fragments of the reconstructed lullaby rendered in Andrew's vocal style. While preserving artistic integrity through strict licensing, the app also invites fans to layer original recordings into their own projects, remixes, lullaby podcasts, and animated shorts. Usage stats show thousands of downloads within days, highlighting the modern appetite for nostalgic, yet innovative musical tools. Fashion and lifestyle collaborations continue to expand. A specialty stationery brand released limited edition journal sets embossed with lullaby lyrics, inviting users to document family verse. A boutique candle company launched the Night Light fragrance line, notes of chamomile and sandalwood, each vessel stamped with lullaby lines that glow when lit. Sales support the Living Memory Trust, ensuring that intangible cultural heritage remains protected. Meanwhile, a popular children's app integrated the lullaby into interactive bedtime stories, allowing kids to tap each illustrated word and hear Andrews recite the verse. Academic research has also flourished. Universities in Toronto and Sydney launched cross-disciplinary studies on the therapeutic impact of lullabies, examining how rhythm and rhyme affect sleep quality, stress reduction, and language acquisition. Journal articles and conference presentations cite Granny.'s revival as a case study in cultural preservation, prompting proposals for similar projects in other linguistic communities. Andrews contributes forewords to published papers, underscoring the symbiotic relationship between art and scholarship. As these ripple effects grow, Andrews remains intimately involved. She frequently hosts virtual fireside chats, narrating personal anecdotes about her grandmother's kitchen during ration weeks and the first time she heard the lullaby. These sessions draw thousands of viewers, many of whom share cherished recollections. Andrews listens attentively, celebrates every contribution, and reminds communities that memory lives only when spoken aloud. In doing so, she not only cements Granny.'s legacy, but also ensures that the art of lullaby making endures, uniting the world in a chorus of hope, resilience, and shared humanity. Her passion remains boundless always. As the world continues to sing, riff, record, and cherish the melodies that knit families and cultures together, there remains one simple truth at the heart of this story. Magic lives in the quietest moments. When a parent hums to soothe a restless child, or an elder passes on an unfinished verse, that instant becomes a beacon of resilience and hope. At 89, Julie Andrews has not only confirmed a long-standing mystery, she has unlocked a legacy that transcends film, medium, and era. In every whispered lullaby and soaring refrain, we discover what we all suspected. Enchantment lies in the stories we share, the songs that bind us.